After meeting Sean for the first time, it was through important work he's doing for AASP, another association up in Massachusetts. He's their attorney, right? I know this young man was working on something that could have a huge impact on our entire industry. I knew this was bigger than Sean even. And the founder and managing attorney for Coverall Law, please help me welcome Sean Preston. How are you, buddy?
Hmm.
Welcome, fella.
Hey, hey, hey. Glad to
Got your
be here.
headset
Thanks
on.
so much.
You look like you're going to start doing some sales calls.
Yeah. Or telemarketing, it's my
That's
side
it. Bring
hustle.
it.
Yeah. So guys, shops take on the liability, don't they? Whether they realize it or not. Yeah.
Every single dollar. Yeah,
Yeah.
every single
But the
dollar.
insurers, right, are the ones trying to dictate the terms to them. So tell
Mhm.
us, what does it truly mean for a shop to own the job? And how does that impact like things like short pays? We're having a lot of discussions around that. What about the shop's liability and just their financial stability? Talk to
Mm.
us about that, man.
Every single dollar coming through these shops is potential liability rolling down the highway. And owning the job, I love hearing folks talk about, the importance of really owning the relationship and how you take care of your customers, getting them, copied on correspondence and stuff like that. But legally, what you really need to do is you need to own the terms and conditions. And so that's really where it starts. It
What does
starts,
that mean?
the terms and conditions, that is your authorization agreement. That's the repair authorization. And so when I got involved in AASP Massachusetts, I was at a firm where we were doing a lot of towing and a little bit of auto body. We were doing it nationwide. And I told my boss, I said, hey, I want to go focus on collision. So there's a number of folks that were doing towing. It's easier to help out towers as an attorney because they could have a huge unpaid invoice, it could be $80,000, cleaning up the freeway. But these short pays, you're getting screwed out of 1,200 bucks or, 2,000. It's not worth hiring an attorney for that. So
Hmm.
I said, it's going to take some creativity to figure out how to help these guys. Now, my background is corporate law and being in-house with some of the biggest brands. And when Lucky at the executive director of AASP
Lucky
Mass,
Papa George.
yeah, exactly. So Lucky says, hey, first thing we need updated authorization agreements. And I'm like, boy, contracts is my bread and butter. That's what I'm good at. What I'm not comfortable with is giving you an authorization agreement and just run off, and I've got no ability to monitor it or to control the quality because I did the same thing years ago for Rolls-Royce to manage the actual like agreement. And so, once a year, we could sit down with outside counsel and we want to look, hey, is there any changes in the law? What decisions have come through the courts that may affect us? What issues have we had where updates that we need to make? And so we created here at Coverall Law, we created the Forever Forms. And
I love
so
that.
it took 7 months. There's, seven industry attorneys came together to build out the Forever Forms, and we just looked at all of the laws and regulations in Massachusetts, all the hoops we got to jump through, and then we, looked at the court decisions, and we just gathered a whole bunch of authorization agreements from around the country. For those that wouldn't give them to us, we paid for them, and we took a look at them. None of them were great. None of them were like Fortune 500 level, like what I would have done for John Deere or for any of the other companies that I've, served over the years. And
Mhm.
so we just took out, building that. Our wish list was over 40 pages, everything we wanted to put in there, and
Give me
then
an
drafted
example
it
of a
down to
couple.
three.
Give me a couple examples of some legalese that would need to be on a 40-page document.
I'll tell you the one thing that no authorization had that we looked at was a limitation on liability. So really like every dollar going, you could replace a side mirror and it could, could cost you $1 million down the road when something completely unforeseeable happens, but they say, nope, you did that work. You're the reason it fell off and, killed that family and made that minivan roll over or whatever craziness
Oh,
goes. Anyway, so, that's one thing we put in there. We say, hey, the most that we're going to be liable for on this job is the amount we receive on the job. And that's something that I learned in doing government contracting too. Is, the government wants you to be on the hook for everything. Be like, no, come on now. The most we're going to be, most we can be liable for is going to be what we received. So that's
So,
one. Another one that we do that's really a big one, especially on the short pace, is we print all the shop's rates right in the authorization, and we have the vehicle owners, they agree that those rates are reasonable.
oh,
Wow,
Yep.
that's interesting.
The third example I give you is we want to do it's a little bit guerrilla warfare. Like John said, being nimble. We want to be able to do that. And we want to look at the things that insurers are doing, at least in Massachusetts, is they're doing something that's called forum shopping. Now, forum shopping is when you go to you know what court you want to be in, you know what judge you want to be in front of, and so you get to go do that. And so what we have is in our forms, every single vehicle owner waives the issue of venue. And that's really helped me out because I'm representing shops all over Massachusetts. So
oh.
that for me, I don't need to be driving all over Massachusetts. If every single one of their customers has waived the issue of venue and I got to bring something, I bring it right down the road here. We got a court here in my hometown.
Wow,
So to,
that's
to sum
interesting.
up, and I know Ryan's got a question for you, but to sum up what a forever form is, you've taken 40 pages of legal documents and essentially condensed it down into what? A couple pages?
Yeah, so our forms are 9 forms in one. They are 3 pages, one signature. There's not a bunch of initialing and crazy stuff. They don't scare any customers away. But this is not a contract or agreement amongst equals. This is a standardized form. Every single line in there says we win and you lose. I was just showing somebody I version 1.0. That's what we came, after 7 months we came out with. I went through and I added comments in each of the lines of what is going on, that behind the scenes there, what we're doing and why we're doing it. The comments, in order to print that document out, ended up being 5 pages, just all the comment stuff. It's hilarious to look at. Now we went around to the first 7 shops that signed up for it. Every single shop gave me 2 recommendations, things that they see boots on the ground that they wanted, and so the next version came out, pretty quickly, and it turned out, 7 attorneys, even 7 attorneys familiar with the industry, didn't think of all the things that boots on the ground that you really need. But so don't, so I guess the point is you don't just own that customer relationship. You want to own the legal terms and conditions around everything that's coming through your shop.
That's amazing. What about jurisdiction wise? Like, obviously, you're writing for your area. Would it translate to right across the country? We got viewers from around the globe in Canada. How does this work?
Great question. It is state specific because the law is state specific, right?
Right.
So the insurance laws are going to be state specific and the regulations around the shops are state specific. So we have been growing our team and we are actually ready to, we've got requests around the country. And, when I came and got to hang out there in Nashville last October,
Yeah, you spoke at our event. Yep.
I was, at first when we talked about it over the summer, I was hesitant because I was like, you know what, we're not ready to, because this is this is our testing ground. Massachusetts is our testing ground, and this is a big experiment. The good news is it's working, and
Yeah.
so when we
I'm going to
talked,
keep pushing you, brother. I'm going to keep pushing you.
well, when we
Uncomfortable.
talked in
Yeah.
July, I was like, you know what? We're not ready. And over the summer, I was just getting buried. And we've come up with some really great solutions over the last 6 months to where now we are ready. And it is a push, but I'm having a blast. I was on the road yesterday, got to visit some shops, and I love walking. It's nice. It's just real nice. I'm blessed.
I love the mission. I love what you're doing. I mean, what are a couple like blaring vulnerabilities that you see that shops should be aware of right now? Like that they might not even be thinking. It might not be in their peripheral.
Mm. Well, I'd like to think that the type of shop that's going to be on this call is the type of shop that wants to do the right thing. So this
Mhm.
might not really be that helpful, but I will tell you, going by the OE stuff, the insurer is not the one repairing it. Yeah, and you'd mentioned earlier, Dave, in your question, like, oh, and the insurers, they want to control this, that, or the other. It's hilarious the things they'll say. They're like, we want to move the car to our storage-free facility. They don't have a storage-free facility, all right? And in case that vehicle ends up owner retained, you do not want it to go to a salvage yard, okay? So, on the, just on the total loss, they don't own shops here, so we're going to guarantee the repair. For an article I wrote for our magazine here, I reviewed 14 different contracts between insurers and the shops. Every single one of them puts it back on the shop. The insurers are not going to guarantee a thing because they're smart, all right? That insurance contract is powerful. The right to contract in the United States is powerful, and that's why what we're doing is working.
Sean, you the man.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
And I saw that clock too. You see me winding it down.
You're going nationwide, brother. Thank you for taking the time to join us today, my friend.
Absolutely. All in good time. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you having our backs.